Welcome to the Road of Life podcast, the show for married entrepreneurs who want to build a thriving marriage and a thriving business. We're your hosts, Meredith and Craig, relationship experts and entrepreneurs ourselves. We know firsthand that your business will only grow as strong as your marriage does.
On this podcast, we share real stories, practical tools, and honest conversations to help you strengthen your relationship, fuel your business, and build a life you love together. Let's dive in.
Minetta Miner is the founder and CEO of Guiding Future Success, LLC. Minetta has over 30 years experience in recruiting, leadership, and professional development. And she helps students, graduates, and early career professionals launch their careers with clarity and confidence.
She dropped some gold in this episode.
Yeah, she did.
Listening to her intuition, the importance of building lifelong relationships, to the power of saying yes and leaning into curiosity, and being a lifelong learner. She also shared her big, hairy, audacious goal for 2026, and it's a game changer. Something I wish that I had when I was graduating college. Welcome, Minetta Miner, to the Road of Life podcast.
We're super excited to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So, talk to us. Where are you at now? Help us understand your story, what you do, and how you got here.
Yeah, so thank you so much again for having me. And really, it's been a journey kind of getting here, right? So my journey began about 15 years ago, to be honest. It came out of a situation where I was hiring and growing a team from 2 to 75 with a medium to large IT software company. And the majority of my talent, I would say about 85 to 90% of that talent, was straight from college. And I noticed that they were so heads down, trying to get the best grades, go to the best schools, make sure everything was great on the college front. They really weren't spending as much time as they needed to in order to make sure they landed an internship, a career outside of college. And so once I started noticing this over and over again, I said, I think there's something here. And so that's where Guiding Future Success LLC came to be. And I'm really super proud of kind of where we are and the future that we have.
That's awesome. So talk to us a little bit about where you are. Like what excites you? What's got you pumped right now?
Yeah, I think that the first thing that comes to mind are all the many individuals that I've worked with over the past, 15 or so years. I've seen them come in straight out of college, very little work experience, if any, to now being directors at organizations, being senior account executives, and just working for some amazing, amazing companies. And so that just has me super, super jazzed. And not only that, just being able to make an impact in the community and helping so many parents who are pulling their hair out, saying, "I need to get my college student with a full-time job, or I need
Gotta get them out of the house.
I need them out of the basement," right? So that also it's a huge part of it as well.
That's awesome.
You're doing a huge service to these people.
Yeah.
These families, like, you're changing lives literally by helping them launch these people who, like, a lot of them probably have this tongue in cheek, a little bit joking, but like at the same time very serious, in that I know I've had people in my life who were like, I don't know what to do with my
30-year-old.
my 20-year-old, my young adult. I don't know how to launch them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're actually doing a huge service in we joke around getting them out of the basement, but like it's a huge service that you're providing.
Well, it's interesting too, because we coach couples in their relationship, in their marriage. And I mean, the service you provide is really valuable for parents, helping launch their children and get them out so that they can go back to, now that the kids are gone, we can focus on us again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hear that a lot. And one of the things that I found is that many of the parents and some of the young adults, they're just not always seeing eye to eye, right? And so they're just like, oh, well, I've told Joey to do XYZ, but they won't listen to me. And then Joey's like, well, my parents aren't listening to me, right? And they're not listening to what I want to do. And so I think that sometimes there's a bit of compromise there, really trying to, understand what the goal is, what the parents' goals are, what the young adults' goals are, and I'm sort of the mediator sometimes in the middle of all of that, which it makes things interesting for sure.
I
I
bet.
bet, yeah, it would.
It's a very relationship-based business. If you've got a relationship with the parents of the young adult, you've got
Mhm.
your relationship with the young adult and trying to help both of them stay connected as you're helping move this young adult through this process, and going back to how what you were saying around they are often so focused on the college admission and going to the best
Um,
schools and then getting the best grades, and then,
mhm.
like, there's not that sort of same level of strategic intent when it comes to the internships and how the next bit unfolds, because, I mean, from my own experience, I remember coming out of college with 0 work experience, and
Mm.
every time I wanted to apply for a job, it's like, "Well, you don't have any experience." I'm like, "Well, of course I don't. I'm out of college. Like, I gotta get experience somewhere." I
Yeah, so
didn't
will you help
I
me
was
get
not
that experience?
strategic. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it sounds
and
like
I
that's a
hear that
gap
all
you
the
fill.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I hear that all the time as well. It's like, "Well, how am I supposed to get experience if no one will give me a job?" And I think we're gonna see more and more of that now,
Mhm,
unfortunately, with AI and everything that's coming through with regard to technology. And so for me, I'm just working very strategically with the young adults to really understand what it is they're looking to do in that position. What type of environment are they looking for culture wise? What really intrigues them? What are they passionate about? So, guiding future success is really more about it isn't just getting a job. They can get a job. What I'm looking to do is to help them find something that they can be truly proud of and that
mhm,
they're gonna go in every day and put their best foot forward and, just elevate their career from there.
mhm. Like, feel fulfilled, like they're
Mhm.
actually contributing to something that they believe in. We always want to leave the next generation better than we found it, and if we can help get people into positions where they feel like they're contributing to something bigger than themselves and contributing to something that's moving things, I think that makes the world a little bit better, a little better of a place.
I
What are
agree.
some of the key strategic if someone's listening, they're like, "Whoo, okay, I haven't given any thought at all to what it looks like to sort of break into that workforce and do something that I'm really proud of." I don't know what being strategic looks like in that space. Like, what's one step? What's the first thing someone can do to sort of set themselves up for success as they're making that transition from college into their career?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the first things that I do with my clients is we sit down and we talk a little bit about, I have them pull out their transcripts. Let's talk about some of the courses that you took. What did you like about these courses? What didn't you like? We sit down, we look at job descriptions, and we're very deliberate about, okay, what is it about this job description that you really think that is intriguing to you and why? Once we kind of pull back the peel back the layers there, we do a lot of research on the types of roles, who's in those roles, are there opportunities for informational interviews to really understand, well, I thought I wanted to be an accountant, but no, that's not what I really want to do. Maybe I want to go into sales. Maybe I want to go into cybersecurity, right? So, really just understanding a bit more about the specific roles that they're looking to get into and how that might be fulfilling to them.
Mhm. Think basically building more awareness, 'cause I think, again,
Mhm.
speaking from my own experience, I didn't have a clue what the real world would actually look like. "Oh, I think I wanna be this, and I think I wanna be that," but it's a bit of a rude awakening that the vision you have in your mind and what that actually looks like in reality can be 2 totally different things, so I love that kind of step 1 is just raising awareness on what
Mhm.
this role, what this potential career path could actually look like. What do entry level into that look like? What's the long-term potential in that role? Just raising awareness through that transition is an important first step for sure.
You mentioned AI a minute
Mm.
ago. How do you see that? Like, it's impacting everything. So, how do you see it changing things in your world?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely already making a huge impact in my world, right? I mean, it has a lot of young professionals that are really fearful, right? That they're not going to find an opportunity because AI is going to take all of the jobs away. I personally don't believe that. I think we need humans, right, in order to train the AI to do whatever it is we need it to do. So I think it's more about embracing it. And I know personally, I've had to learn to embrace it a little bit more and say, okay, well, how can I use it to be impactful? So I encourage them to embrace the tool, see where there's opportunity for them to grow and to learn, ask other people how they're leveraging AI in order to make an impact and to determine where they wanna go.
I love so we've talked a little bit about the transition that your clients make, right? From like
Mm.
college to career. Talk to us more about your transition because you spent 30 years in corporate like recruiting and leadership and sales and like you had a full corporate career and then have also introduced this entrepreneurship journey. So talk to us about
Tell us how smooth that transition was and how easy it's been for you.
You say smooth? Yeah, it's been anything but smooth. And honestly, the entrepreneur side of it, it just happened, right? But just to kinda take it back a bit, I mean, I started working in corporate America, um, 30 some years ago. My first internship was in high school. So I had 2 internships my junior and senior year of high school, working for what is now Northrop Grumman and US Geological Survey. So I did that junior, senior year, and then when I graduated from high school, Northrop Grumman offered me a full-time position. So that's how I started. I was all of 17 years old. I actually found my first pay stub the other day. Whoa, that was eye-opening compared to how much my clients are getting paid today. But yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible, but going from that and taking many different paths, I've pivoted so many different times. From working at government contractors to going to working for a health management company for a while, property management, Fairfax County in various capacities. But one of the key transition points for me was leaving Fairfax County after 7 years in their economic development office. I had a mentor that she really uncovered, that she thought I'd be great in sales. And I had never thought of sales at all before. And she says, well, would you look into it? Would you explore it? And I said, well, why not? And so I ended up leaving the county and I ended up going to work for Oracle. That was a game changer for my career. 2 years after being at Oracle, I decided to leave and go to another software company. I would say about 6 months after being in the role, I was asked to lead a team. And that was a huge turning point from going from individual contributor to leadership. I had never led a team before, not directly, and so, it was a great opportunity, but I grew a team from 2 to 75 in 7 years and promoted over 50 plus of my employees. And it was just an incredible run. It was a global position. I absolutely loved it. And then that's truly what ended up leading to where I am today.
What skills or what behaviors or what attributes would you point to allow you to grow a team from 2 people to 75 people in 7 years? Because that's an incredible growth trajectory over such a generally short period of time. How did you do that?
Yeah, a lot of it was organic. Some of it was through acquisition, right? So I didn't have to hire all 75, organically, right? However, I would say the ability to be coached was huge. Asking for help and getting an internal mentor. So one of my mentors that, was a senior VP of sales. I went to him. There was just something about him that I absolutely loved with regard to how he conducted meetings. I was always, front and center. I was like, wow, it was very impressive. And I asked him to be my mentor. And so he said yes. And so that for me was huge. I would also say just being able to adapt and the last thing I'll say too is, as you're growing a team, listening to your team, allowing them to be part of the journey, not "Oh, you have to do everything the way that I say to do it," right? They had amazing my team was amazing, and they always were bringing, great ideas to the table. "Minetta, what about this? Can we do that?" "Sure, let's do it." And I would give them credit
Yeah.
for, bringing those ideas to the table. So those are the things that come to mind right now.
I hear a lot of
Oh.
from you, like, one, listening to your intuition, but also saying yes. You say yes a lot, and it popped up when you said yes to going into sales. You said yes to your team when they bring ideas to you. Yeah, let's try it. And I just love that saying yes and being open to exploring and whatever the adventure is that comes from that. It's
Mhm.
really cool.
So I've got several
Mhm.
things I wanna kind of underline in what you just said, 'cause I think you dropped some incredible nuggets there for yeah, big time, some bombs for sure. And that was the first thing, and I was thinking of it from the other side because we know a lady named Sharon Lechter. She's a author who sold, like, 40 million books, like, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like,
Mhm.
she an impressive lady, and she always says, "Why not?" Like, ask yourself the question, "Why not?" And you
Mhm.
said it from the perspective of you always say yes. What I heard from you is, "Why not? Why not try sales? Why not try leading a team? Why not try
Mhm.
whatever idea your employees bring forward? Why not?" Your
Mhm.
openness to try something new and expect a positive result from it is really incredible. I also your willingness to ask and take action, like, your willingness to, "Hey, will you mentor me?" Your willingness to just step in and try something new. I agree, like, that's super impressive, and what I wanted to hone in on for the next question is, it seems from the outside looking in, you just have this innate leadership ability, like, leadership came
Mhm.
very easy to you, it's very natural. First of all, how much of it is natural versus how much of it was learned? And of that which was learned, what was the hardest thing for you to learn about being a leader?
Yeah, I would say it's probably 50-50. I do believe that, so first off, the very first thing that I did when I was offered the leadership role is I reflected on the leaders that I had over the years. Who did I believe were the great leaders? Why did I think so? I did a pros and cons. And I said, okay, these are the qualities that I absolutely loved about them. Do I believe that I will bring those qualities to the table? And if I do, then okay, I'm going to do this. And if I didn't, there was a many leaders that or managers that I just it was terrible to be completely honest. And I said, okay, I don't want that, right? So it was being very reflective in that.
What was the hardest of the skills you had to acquire or learn? What was the most difficult part of learning skills to be a leader? What was the hardest one?
I would say that sometimes you don't always get your way,
Fair.
right? I
We
mean,
all need to learn that lesson.
yeah, I mean, I think sometimes you can have the best ideas and you can be really passionate about something and you're coming from it from a perspective of, you're trying to do good within the organization and you want your team to be successful, but sometimes the answer is no. And I was told that and I didn't always take that the first couple of times and then I had to learn. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, how do I overcome this? Is there something more that I could have provided to have been successful? Right. And so it was a learning process for me for sure.
I mean, Minetti, I think it's super impressive your ability, one, your level of self-awareness and your level of responsibility, but also your ability to learn from everyone and everything. You
Mm,
never just accept a bad leader as just a bad leader. What can I learn? What did they do that I don't want to do? Or
mm,
you never accept a failure or a no as a no. What could I have done differently to have changed this outcome? Shows me an incredible amount of responsibility and accountability. Like, how can I do better next time? And what lessons can I take from this so that I can change the potential outcome for next time? It seems like you have a very innate growth mindset. Where does that come from?
I would say just overall, I have always been curious. I've always wanted to learn about something new. How was XYZ successful, right? How were they able to make, that amount of money or get to that leadership? But a lot of it too is really comes back to my faith, right? I've always taken risks. I've always wanted to do better, right? And I think for me, it comes to, that confidence, that, having faith and praying, to be completely honest.
One thing I've heard throughout your whole journey is intention. Like, you put a
Mm,
lot of intention, a lot of thought. You're a very intentional person,
mm,
which I think we need more of in the world. I think most people, we just, drift through life and we
mm,
just take life as it comes. Whereas I see with you, you're very intentionally focused. Like, okay, I'm going to be a leader and I want to be the best leader I can be. What can I go and take from all the past leaders I had, good or bad? Like,
mm,
okay, from this person, I don't wanna do that, but from this person, they had this really strong skill set, I wanna adopt that, and that's just a really, really cool attribute that I see throughout your whole journey.
mm.
Like, where does that, I guess it kinda leads back to this, it's similar question, but was there someone in your life that had that you were role modeled that? Like, where does that come from?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, that a lot of it comes from my mom. She is definitely, a huge part of my life. She is just so resilient. She is, cancer survivor. She just retired from hospice, for 32 years, and just that, just drive and motivation and ambition and not taking no for an answer in her own way. Right?
Yeah.
And so I think that, it comes from that. And again, just being surrounded by amazing, amazing individuals. Again, I learned from, my family. I learned from past leaders. I learned a lot from my team. We were constantly learning all the time. So it really doesn't matter the age of someone, right? There's always something that you can take away, and I think that, people would just be open to that, and we would learn so much. We would learn so much more.
You're so right. We've got a friend who actually owns his own personal growth company, and he talks about his just turned 4-year-old is his
Mhm.
greatest mentor. Like, to your point, like, you can learn so much from so many people if you're
Mhm.
just open and looking for the lessons always. And
Yeah.
what I heard a lot in that answer is people, community, relationships. Like, that's one
Mhm.
big lesson that we have learned on this entrepreneurship journey is the people you surround yourself with, the community you have, the people you're learning from, the people you're role modeling, that, like, it's a game changer, and it
Mhm.
seems like, again, you figured that one out early, that you surround yourself with good people, and then you learn from them. And
Mhm.
what I wanted to go back to was when you mentioned curiosity before, of where your
Mhm.
growth mindset comes from.
Mhm.
I mean, we believe that curiosity is such a superpower, I mean, in the world, right? Like, your example of you're always curious about how things work. How did they figure that out? How did that person create this? But it also, from a relationship perspective, when you can lead with curiosity,
Mhm.
it's a superpower. Like, we talk about it in the marriage, but it really applies in every relationship when
Yeah.
you can lead with curiosity. And so sometimes people run into a little bit of friction in a relationship from time to time. Like, I'm sure in any relationship,
All relationship.
your kids set up your tech stuff. I'm sure there might have been a little friction,
Oh,
maybe, it's a
yeah,
touch.
honestly, today, it was good, right? I just let him do his thing because I wanted to be all set up. And I says, if I get in the way, right, that's going to, there's going to be some friction. So I let him do it today, but typically there would be. Because I'm like,
Yeah,
well, what are you doing? Are you sure you have to do that?
and
Yeah.
so when that inevitably happens and that friction inevitably comes up from time to time, our default as humans is sometimes to lead with an assumption or make a judgment, like,
Mhm.
"Ugh, he doesn't know what he's doing, like, he doesn't know that I need to do it," as opposed to leading with curiosity. I wonder why he's doing it that way. Maybe there's something I don't know. And it sounds like you've applied that level of curiosity not only to your work and to your leadership, but also to the important relationships in your life.
I would say it's still evolving and I'm still trying every day. I have a 26-year-old son who happens to be a business owner as well. And sometimes he challenges me. He says, Minetta, Mom, he says, Mom, why are you doing it this way? Or did you think about doing that? I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. you know? And so, we go back and forth. Sometimes my family will be like, "You guys sound like an old married couple," right? Because, we bicker sometimes back and forth, but he has some really good ideas. And sometimes I have to take a step back as a parent and
Mm,
say, you know what? I should listen to him a little bit more, right? So I think it's where, you constantly have to grow and learn. So yeah.
that's cool.
You must be proud mom.
Yeah.
26, his own business. What's his business? What's he doing?
Yeah, so he is a reptile breeder and educator, and so he does birthday parties, events. He goes to schools and educates the children on all of the different reptiles and their environment and all of that. And so yeah, so I'm very, very proud of him.
Very
We
cool.
have a nephew that would think that
Oh
was
my
the
gosh. Yeah,
coolest.
Well, let
He
yeah.
me
just met
know. I can hook you guys up.
Yeah.
he just met a turtle on vacation. I think we're gonna hear a lot about
Oh,
that on
yeah.
the weekend.
It's funny, we saw pictures of him and his brother. He is very into it. His brother, very scared of this turtle. You can tell it's all over his face, but yeah,
That's
very
great.
fun. Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. So, Minetta, what are you excited about now? What's with building future success? Like, what is the thing that you're working on that you're passionate about that you're really excited that you're working on?
Yeah. So, guiding future success, it's truly my baby. And what I'm most excited about going into 2026, and I'm going to speak this into existence, right? Because it's something that is really very important to me. I've heard time and time again from young people that are just like, information about, life and careers in one place. Getting my finances in order is in another place. And we need, health and wellness and mental health resources, etc. And my goal is to create a community next year to launch it where it's a one-stop shop resource for all things to help young professionals navigate their lives.
I love that.
Very
I
cool.
I love that you spoke that into existence right here, right now, because I think that is so needed and necessary. I think well, what you're already are offering that group of young people is changing lives, but also to your point, there's so many pieces, and when we come out of college and we finally get our real job
Mhm.
and we're all these things, and we gotta worry think
Yeah.
about our debt and all there's we wanna buy a house and there's all kinds of
Mhm.
financial demands and financial stress and financial things we don't know, and we're supposed to be saving for retirement, and that feels like it's a million miles away, and so why
Mhm.
would I do that right now? And
Yeah.
I just I think bringing young people together in a community where they can
Mhm.
learn from each other,
Yep.
learn from you, support each other, hold each other accountable, like, community, I think is never a bad idea.
It's not. I mean, if I go back and the many people that I hired over the years, I am just amazed at how many of them friends today. Like on Facebook, they've been to weddings, they've been to baby showers, they go on travel and vacation together. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And so believe that this community is really going to make a big difference. It'll have all the resources that they need. I'll be partnering with other people. I'm not going to try to do everything myself, right? So I just went to a networking event last night around, building wealth. And so we'll be partnering with people to bring, their expertise and knowledge as a resource and have, sessions like we're having right now to make them successful and to see their lives grow.
That's so cool. I was actually before you even said that, I was like, "Oh, I can just see because of the world you're in with like all the networking you're doing and all the relationships you're building and all the expertise that is out there. You can leverage those relationships and have them come in and do presentations to the kids and help them with, the finances here or whatever
Relationships,
relationships here.
Yeah,
And by the way, anything we can do to help you
of
by
course.
all means. But health over
absolutely.
here, all the things, right? Like you can have all these people on your journey that you're meeting and all these other industries, and they all can come in and provide value to your community. It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and you know what? I have to say, like, again, from my own experience, I found sometimes making friends as grown-ups to be a lot harder than it was when I was a kid. And so having a community of people who are all trying to grow and be the best version of themselves in that same
Mhm.
demographic would be really nice.
Especially at that age, like, where
Yeah.
you're coming out of university or college and
You're
going
kind
into
of
the
reinventing
workforce.
yourself.
Yeah, it's just thinking back, that would have been such a cool resource to have
Yeah.
available. I would love to have had that opportunity to join a group and to go on that journey with a bunch of my peers who were,
Mhm.
doing the same thing, building a life for themselves and getting all these resources and coaching and help from someone like you with all that expertise and who has done this so many
That's
times.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have an amazing network that I plan to tap and say, "Hey, can you bring some knowledge about XYZ?" I'm like, literally, I just had a conversation with someone that is in the funeral industry, right? I have a client that I'm working with that has an interest in getting into that field. I said, "You know what? I think I know a couple of people. We're going to do an informational interview. We're going to go do a tour together." My services are really, I try to customize them as much as possible so that they get what they need from working with me. And so if I have the resource, I'll definitely pull it together for them.
Yeah.
I don't
I
doubt.
love that. Like, one day you're teaching someone how to, like,
Negotiate a salary.
and
Yeah.
then the next you're doing a tour of a funeral home and,
Yeah.
like like
Yeah, I mean, I've went to job fairs with my clients, right? So I pulled about, I think it was like 3 or 4 of them. This was probably about 2 years ago, and I said, "Hey, I'd love for you guys to meet one another. It'd be a great networking
Mm.
opportunity for you." And I says, "Well, let's go to the job fair together." So I got them out there, said, "Okay, let's do a little bit of role play now. Go out and test your skills. Come back and tell me how it went." We tweaked a few things and get back out there, right? Real time doing these types of things. I mean, it's amazing. I love it. I'm always learning something new. So it's fun. It
Oh
keeps it
my
yeah.
gosh,
exciting for
That's
me.
that's a game changer.
right? I can't
Yeah.
imagine having, like, real-time coaching at a job fair, like, that I think is worth its weight in gold for sure. I always found in my corporate life, networking to be, like, a four-letter word. Like, "Oh, there's a networking event." Like, "Oh gosh, do I have
Mhm.
to?" Oh,
Mhm.
but I think when you can bring a community of young folks together at this stage when they're just starting on their career and make networking, like, just part of it and fun and something they where they get a lot of value and they enjoy each other and they support each other and they cheer each other on, it for the rest of their lives, networking doesn't become this, like, awful thing they feel like they have to do for work. It becomes, like, something
Yeah.
that they've always been doing, and it's just easy for them because they learned it so young and they enjoyed it. But I think that's
Yeah, I
also a
mean,
huge benefit.
networking really is, sometimes it can be a little stressful. I'm not going to lie. You go to a new event that you've never been before, you don't know anyone. That can be really stressful. So I always say, bring a friend with
Mhm.
you, right? And then you just work the room. You go talk to one person, you bring them over, you introduce them. But I think that networking is so essential. I mean, if I could look back at my network, I still have connections from my very first job
Amazing.
that I could text right now
That's incredible.
and they would pick up. That's the other
Yeah.
thing. And I stress that because so many times, especially on LinkedIn, it's all about getting the connections, getting the connection. Click, 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 click. I've done more of that where I'm trying to broaden my audience, but at the end of the day, you want authentic, real connections. You want for people to actually respond when you're sending them a note. You can't necessarily do that if you're just accepting every single invite that
Mhm.
comes into your
Yeah.
inbox.
Yes. You wanna build an actual relationship, not just a
Yeah.
transactional connection.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 I I mean, that's beautiful. I'm excited for you. I think this community you're building is gonna be
Yeah.
fantastic.
I'm super
I
pumped
hope
for you.
so. I
Yeah.
hope so. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I think that it'll be valuable. So we'll see.
So
Nice.
launching in 2026.
Launching in 2026.
Early, late, mid?
I'm thinking April, May
Nice.
timeframe.
Nice.
Perfect.
I love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So how can people get a hold of you, Minetta?
Yeah, great question. So you can go to my website. It's www.guidingfuturesuccess.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at at Guiding Future Success LLC. You can find me on LinkedIn, Minetta Minor. I'm one and only. Yeah, I'm out there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure we include all that in the show notes so people can get a hold of you easily,
So
because I'm sure there's gonna be someone, at least one person who's like, "Ooh, this sounds like something that my 23-year-old who I want out of the house needs to be involved with," so now you know.
thank
Yeah.
you. I
Well,
appreciate it.
thank you so much for being here. It was such a pleasure. You
Thank
dropped
you so
so
much
much
for
gold.
having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Road of Life podcast. Remember, your business will only grow as strong as your marriage does.
So what's one action you're gonna take this week to put something you learned in this episode into practice? Because we love a good chit chat as much as the next person does. But without action, stay where you are.
If you want to turn your marriage into the engine that drives your business forward, instead of the brakes keeping it stuck, book a free marriage and business strategy session with us at 200percentmarriage.com/strategy call.
We'll see you next week.
Road of life, yes, you are.